It's me again. So today I would love to talk about money matters. It is not, to be honest, it is actually not a very easy topic for me to talk about because I do have personal struggles when it comes to money. And I'm being really bluntly honest here with everyone, just as always, right? So, and this video is not a lecture. It is not a lecture. Every of my videos is not lecture. I'm not lecturing anyone. This is something that I would love to point out, to address. I would like to say it's not that it's something right or wrong. It's just that I would love to concisely express my intent again, which is all of my videos are simply how I share my personal experiences and also observations, and through this way to interact and connect with those who resonate with whatever I express. That's the core intent. Okay, and in this video it's gonna be about money matters. And the reason that I would love to talk about this today is because it has come to the point that it's time for me to address it within myself. So this would be a video that you again witnessing myself and I having a meeting, having a conversation. That is how I'm actually brainstorming and self-reflecting on my personal relationship with money, as well as how I perceive money, and also what is money when it comes to us, humanity. Okay, so that would be the three parts. First of all, it would be my personal relationship with money, okay, which is my struggles, or you could say like love-hate relationship, or like uplifting relationship. It could be many different ways to navigate. So I don't know yet. I'm just gonna brainstorm and keep self-reflecting and see how it goes, okay? And the second part would be how I perceive money, like how I personally perceive money, okay, from different aspects. It could be on a personal level, could be on a responsibility level, or it could be to the extent of family, as a unit. And then the third part would be, what is money then to us, all of us on this planet? So this would then be more of a macro aspect of seeing things, whereas for the second part it would be more of micro. So let's start with the first part, that is about my personal relationship with money. How I would describe my personal relationship with money, I would say is very, I'm actually gonna put it in the perspective of using astrology, okay? My relationship with money is very, I would say is very watery or Mercury. Why would I say it that way, or say the moon? Because when it comes to the moon in astrology, it is something that comes and goes, just like how the moon, right, in the night sky, that there's like the moon would wane, right? There's a waning moon, and then like there would be like different phases of the moon. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's how I perceive my relationship with money is like the phases of the moon. And that's also relating to water. Why? Because it feels like a tidal thing for me, like tides, of the ocean, of waves. It comes like it as a waves, as a lot of waves. Sometimes I would say, in another perspective of seeing it, is quite Mercury as well, because it's something that you can't really get hold of. For me personally, okay, it's something that I can't really grasp it. As the more that I grasp it, it flows out. It's like sands on the beach. Okay, so like I can't grasp it. This is how my relationship with money has been like. And what it feels like in earlier in my life, it feels kind of I don't really understand money. Even to this point in my life, I would actually say that I don't actually really understand money. I'm not saying in an economical point of view. Okay, I'm not saying through the lens of economics or through the lens of finance. Okay, I'm not saying that in this point of view. I'm talking about I don't vibe with money. But it's not that I don't like money or I like money, nor I hate or love it. No. It's simply, I just personally don't resonate with money so much. You know, it's the same as how, if I put it into more like a physical perspective, which is like, sometimes you will have a person that you fight with more, you know, like a friend that, like with in a group of friends, sometimes we would feel much more comfortable, or say we fight much more easily and comfortably with a particular person within, you know, a group of friends. And whereas for some other people, you don't really fight with much, okay? Or even to certain scenarios, it would be like we would be fighting much more difficulty. See, I'm actually feeling a little bit weird when I even talk about money. Like, this is like, I feel like you guys can actually sense how I talk. I am conscious with how I'm talking right now, because it does feel a little bit like the energy. It feels very, like, how I would say it, how I would describe it at this moment is that I feel a lot of resistance. And the reason that I do feel a lot of resistance, partly it comes from myself, but also, now here's the thing, there's something about me, is that I am very sensitive to energies. So I do pick up a lot of collective energies on a daily basis. So that's why money is actually a topic that a lot of people are actually undergoing right now. Like, be it they see it as an issue, or see it as a problem, or see it as something, as a challenge or opportunity, this topic, money matters, is on a lot of people's mind right now. Because we are all, as a collective, humanity, we are all navigating. On a personal level, we are figuring out, how am I to do with the resources as relating to my own growth? How am I going to navigate through life, you know, in the upcoming years? And how am I going to, should I actually stay in this job? Or should I change my career path? You know, everyone is trying to figure out at the moment. And so money has become such a prominent, or say, I would even say dominant topic since the beginning of this year. Not only since the beginning of 2025, actually, it has been quite something that we have been all pondering about since COVID. Okay, since the outbreak of COVID, I would even say that. And it's been brewing. And now up to this point, it's very interesting. I just watched the video about astrology, certain updates on astrological information, which is about on we are now officially in the North Node of Pisces. Okay, we're actually shifting. We have shifted into the North Node of Pisces. Okay, and when did that happen? It was on January 11th. Okay, to January 12th. That was the shift. And for the upcoming 1 year and a half, we would be in this we would be having North Node in Pisces. Okay, so what does it mean though? Why am I linking this into this conversation, which is money and matters? Because when North Node in Pisces, it means on a collective, okay, I'm talking about on a collective level, we are actually experiencing a lot of letting go, a lot of surrendering, a lot of realizing our own potentials as connecting to spiritually, okay, spiritual practices and how we evolve individually as well as collectively. Because Pisces is the last zodiac sign, we say, in the zodiac, and it actually symbolizes the wrapping up of things or endings, okay? Or from another perspective, it's actually transcending. When something ends, it actually means transcend, right? It's like rebirth, regeneration after destruction. So this is what it is, and we are all going through this. And so money would be one of the major topics when it comes to this. And so this is why I am experiencing a lot of energetic shifts, as well as I take time. I actually have been taking a lot of time to reflect on myself, as well as the world, as well as how I personally would like to navigate my own personal path forward. And I would also observe how the world is moving and changing as we all move in different directions individually. So that being said, when it comes to the personal relationship, right, between me and money, I have been experiencing since birth, I would say, that money to me is something very like mercury, like sands, like water, like the phases of the moon. What does it mean? It means it's always changing and it's very hard to grasp. It's not something that is solid to me. Personally, I don't find money solid. I find it very fluid, and that's why I'm a person that I don't really feel very attached. I'm not really attached to material things. Not saying that material things are bad, no. It's just that being a person, myself, that is not having a strong attachment to material things as well as money, it gives me a very self-evident perspective since a kid that I'm not the money, and I'm not defined by the money, and I am actually not any of this. And because I don't vibe with money. I don't vibe. However, I would be, how I would usually go into jobs, in the past, I look for experiences rather than how much they pay me for my work, okay? And most of the time, I would be perceived by my parents, they would see me as being underpaid, okay, as relating to how they perceive me having certain qualifications. And I also do notice that, or say I did notice that at that time as well. But the reason is that why we have such a discrepancy in our perspectives, which is they would see me as being underpaid when it comes to my qualification and the work that I'm doing, and why I would even go into having that job, and that I would agree to accept such a job, or different jobs of different fields. Is because for experiences, like for my personal perspective, is on experiences and not the money. And whereas for my parents, that would be for an older generation, they would perceive it as unfair or not receiving what they expect to receive, because sometimes they would see it as an investment into, when it comes to sending their children to better colleges, good education, So these would be a different point of views. It just shows different sides of the stories. But it doesn't necessarily mean that who's right or who's wrong. And however, from this kind of, perspective, if we see how my parents would view me going into different kind of jobs, and they see it as being underpaid, or say they would actually want me to be paid higher, but I'm not actually asking for more. It really tells, like this, through this kind of comparison in a scientific perspective, that my personal relationship with money is very neutral, whereas for my parents, they could hold a much more bond with money. Okay, and the reason is I value experience and progress and learning much more than material gain. Whereas for them, they would see the end goals and destinations and something as a result, something that's more solid, material, or something that they would gain at the end of something would be their priorities. Okay, that would, but it's just different preferences, right? Personal preferences. And this is actually very interesting, because over time, since a kid, I could not understand why people stress so much about money. And for me, I value much more of feelings and learning and understanding and experiences. It's not that I don't see the need of acquiring certain wealth or money, or say material gain, but it's more of how I treasure the process of things, of formation or experiencing, much more than what can I get materialistically from this. I think it's just a different perception on things. And funny enough is that now that we are more shifting into, the surrendering mode as a collective, and that is why there are so many economic upheavals happening. If we relate it to astrologically speaking, it is a shifting. It is a big shift, because we have just officially shifted into North Node of Pisces, which is about surrendering, letting go of the material gains in a way to understand that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, that none of this here we can bring it with us when we officially leave our bodies. not even the bodies can we actually bring along to the afterlife, so to speak, right? So this is the shift that we are all experiencing, and it really got me into a self-reflection mode. That here's something that I just have been really, I would even say struggling, okay? I have been struggling to come to understand within myself that I love talking, okay? I love sharing. I love discussing. I love interacting with people to expand our world views together, from learning from, through learning from each other, be it intellectually or spiritually or socially. These mean so much to me that it's like it not only it fulfills me, I feel satisfied, as very much of satisfaction because of the process of interacting with you guys. It also gives me so much energy and passion, and it's like it's fueling me to keep moving forward. And that, I would say, is the momentum. Okay, it's the momentum that I would also call it the flow. This means so much more to me than money. Okay? That is the first thing first that I would like to point out. However, what I also, during my self-reflection time, I also would question myself that, okay, I do love sharing. I do love talking about all of this. And not because I just want people to be convinced by what I talk about, but simply because the linking, the connecting of the neurons, that I'm a neuron and you are a neuron, the neural expansions is kind of like my food, energetically, okay, or spiritually. It fulfills me. It fulfills my purpose, my passion, and my excitement, okay? However, physically, okay, on the physical realm, I don't know how I can, how to turn this into a certain resource, or say acquiring certain resource, so that to allow myself to fulfill the survival as in the basic necessities, what I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not worried about this at all, but I just have been trying to understand. Why would I say so? It's because, now I'm not here to, I'm not saying that anyone is, it's not that I'm saying like, oh, they should not do this or they should do this. No, there's no right or wrong here. What I'm going to say in the following, okay? I'm not judging anyone. It's just I'm using these as examples to in a way to demonstrate how I feel, okay? How I express, how, like, it's easier for me to express in this way with examples. When it comes to certain spiritual knowledge, or like spiritual doctors, some people would say healers, or different kind of services, or even when it comes to occult knowledge. Now, I would love to know what you guys, how you guys perceive, because to me, it's very interesting to learn from everyone of your opinions through mutual understanding and mutual respect. That, what do you see? How do you perceive when it comes to people charging a great amount of money for other people, in order for other people to be able to access to such information. Like, I don't really understand when it comes to this. And then I would question myself, is it me that I'm setting the bar too low? At one point I did actually question myself. I'm like, do I actually have to, set the bar high so to filter out people? I have been trying to understand this. I'm like, why if here's my entire thought process. Okay, is that now if I receive information, say from the above, okay, or anywhere, okay, that is valid, okay, valid information, not in a way to harm anyone. First thing first, okay, that I have to say it first clearly. And if it's for anyone as well, okay, not just me. If anyone receives information from any source that is with the intent to, with good intent, okay, positive intent, not to cause any harm to anyone, this kind of information that one receives is actually accessed by all. This is actually public information. Why would I say this? Because this kind of information actually can set people free. And this really struck me when I was trying to reflect. Like I was reflecting, I was like, if this sets people free, how can I personally, okay, how can I charge people? How can I charge people when information like this, be it ancient knowledge, occult knowledge, or spiritual knowledge, okay, it's kind of like the same thing, all right? This kind of information sets people free. I'm so confused. I was like, how could I charge people for money when I know very much this kind of information or this kind of experience, if I'm able to share with other people, could potentially help them to free themselves. Not me freeing people. No. I'm not here to save anyone, but by me being truly myself, authentically myself, that I speak my truth, that I, not to cause any harm, just to let people know that this is what I learned, this is what I observed, this is what I know. And if it's of help to you, I'm happy for you. Like, it is your own takeaway. It is yours. It's not me. It's not about me. This is what I was so confused. And to be honest, now I'm also still brainstorming, or else I would not be speaking, all right, here in such a way that I'm just really, like, when I see people charge a lot of money on different events, okay, for different events or any kind of I would say maybe like what do you call those, like gatherings or lectures, I'm like, if this is actually of help for people, but there are many people that actually need this information to set themselves free. How could you charge them? Because to me personally, if I charge somebody, only then they are able to access. Yes, I can use this as a filter, just to filter out those who are sincere enough to want to know the information, right? But then maybe it's just, I don't know, like maybe $5, $10. Because if you don't even want to spend $10 or $5 to move forward, or say to actually reach out to something that you feel potentially could help you to see with more clarity, it's on personal decision, this about personal choices, right? Then that would be a good filter, right? But then when it comes to certain information that is just, I would even say it really, I was and am very confused. I'm like, why, how, when it comes to knowledge, knowledge in itself, this, to me, knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is simply knowledge, okay, on books or whatever, occult knowledge or spiritual knowledge. All of this, they are simply manifestations of the infinite knowing of who we all are. We are all the same, that we all can access to this infinite knowing that is universal knowing. Then I'm here on the physical realm, on this plane. I'm charging people to access to that. I'm like, I just can't. I know a lot of people are doing this, but I just can't. That's why I really I had such a struggle. I'm like, how can I charge anyone? It's like, how it feels like, it's like, this kind of information can be, say, any of the information can be accessed into a public library. Like, anyone can actually go into the public library and browse through these books and just take them out and then read, and then, okay, anyone can do that. But it's because this public library is being blocked in some way or another. Now, I'm not gonna go into like the reasons, like I'm gonna no, I'm not gonna talk about this. It's just like, imagine it's like a public library being blocked by whatever reasons, okay? But it is actually a public library. The information stored in the public library is, in fact, it's meant to be accessed by all. Then I'm like, then if I charge people about this information, then wow, I'm like, that's weird. I can't, this is just not this does not align to my core values. So I'm like, but at one point I was really, struggling with if I should charge people, because a lot of other people are doing the same. Because what other people would say, not say as in their teachings or their sharings, okay, is that your like your, how should I put it? It's like, it's your money mindset or like your lacking mindset that inhibits you to acquiring wealth. Okay. I mean, to a certain extent, some people might have these kind of lessons that they actually have to go through. I do agree with that. But personally, after like certain period of time of self-reflection, I don't see that resonating with myself. Like, for me, it is not lacking mindset. For me, it's about, it does not align with my core values. Because if I know very much this information can be of help to people, how could I even hold them back with money? And at the same time, this kind of information is actually for public knowing. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say? This is just not moral to me. That's the word that I'm trying to find. It's not aligned to my personal moral standard. Okay? And so only later, I've come to a point, I'm like, what can I do? Because I do want to share this information, but I do need to eat. I need, I need I need certain monetary, how should I say? I do need certain monetary supports in order to sustain my basic living. That is like water, shelter, clothes, food. This is literally the only necessities that I need. And to a certain extent, transportation. Okay, if I have to travel this is for personal living, right? But it's something basic necessities, not to the great amount, not to the extent that I need to live a luxurious life. No. It's more of, I had been exploring how to align my passion with simply leading a simple life on this plane. This is actually what I have been exploring for, I would say, the past year, okay? And I have come to a point that I realized that what would fit me the most is because I really truly love sharing of this, how I internally feel, or what I reflect on, like this, with people like you on the internet, or even face to face. And I don't want to charge with like you have to pay me for this in order to only then, I would let you know what it is. Because I don't see this as a product. I don't see this as a product. I don't see what I'm speaking as a service that is just I'm helping you. No, because through me sharing and people like you guys listening and responding and interacting, you guys are helping me as well. That's why I have been saying that this is not something that is just one-sided. This is two-sided. This is a co-creation. So that is why I don't see myself superior or inferior in any way to anyone. And so the exchange, the reciprocating thing here for me in this community is literally conscious interaction, conscious sharing, conscious growth, conscious learning. And so it comes to me that this community has been growing beautifully, even though now it is like a baby, and it's been really beautiful to witness the growth of this community with you all. So far, as far. And I'm really glad to have met so many of you here. And I would call it like finding your own tribe, finding people who speak my language, you speak, we think alike, And this is what excites me the most. And so when it comes to the financial thing, I have reflected on this, and I realized that maybe the best way for me to acquire certain monetary support is through donations. And I actually have been very hesitant on speaking on this, because I feel kind of weird to even talk about money when it comes to this. I don't even know how to explain it. It feels very weird to me. It's weird because, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with money, this kind of concept, which I would actually explain more why in the following parts, the two parts, how I perceive money and what is money on a collective level. And so this is what it is, to wrap up my part one here. that is my relationship with money. I have come to a point that I realized this is on a personal level, that my relationship with money is that I live very happily with, I would say, the bare minimum. It actually makes me feel very light, and it allows me to reflect on life and myself as a person and as one of the persons on this beautiful planet, that what is it that truly fulfills me? What can I do in the midst of nothing? What truly excites me when every earthly possession is being shattered off of me? That is only the time that I see so truly in my own eyes, through my own eyes, and seeing into the external, that who am I? And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. It is truly valuable to experience this relationship, my relationship with money, that it reminds me and teaches me so much about myself. That my value, that my worth, that my passion, or say my purpose, and my aspirations, they have nothing to do with money. They have nothing to do with money. All of the 5 things I think that I just mentioned, they are priceless. They can't be even no price tags can be put on them, because they're priceless. And that's what I realized within myself, that money is a tool, which I've always seen it as a tool, that can help me to lead a very simple life with immense joy, infinite joy, and feeling light and fulfilled. And because it comes from knowing myself, that what am I aligned with? What do I see valuable? What is my calling, in life? And it's when I look at myself, naked in a way, figuratively speaking, that seeing myself as who I truly am. And yeah, so this is my part 1, the part 1 of the video, which is on my personal relationship with money and what I've learned from it as so far. Okay. Right. And I would love to hear what you think as regarding to my personal perception and relationship with money. Because sometimes, there are many different aspects of seeing the same thing, different perspectives. And I would love to hear what you guys feel about it, hear about it. And if I am to, what do you call that? Like start a link for donations, what do you guys think about it? Because I really truly don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And the reason that I would like to choose the option of donations is because it is all of the things that I share is out of my own personal passion, and I know that if it's beneficial for other people, I just don't, and it's something that's so publicly accessible. In essence, it's just that I take the role in this lifetime to be able to receive such information and having the opportunity to be able to share with other people. And so I don't feel aligned at all to charge people with a specific amount, only then you can listen or access to this. And so my will and my wish is to, if possible, people could, find certain information that I share helpful, that they have their own takeaways. That would be one of my greatest joys. And I really hope that, that my passion, not only my I really hope that my passion, not only can it keeps me moving forward, but it can also assist other people to keep moving forward in their lives. So that is it for, I've been saying like, this is a part one, this is part one. So please let me know what you think about the donations, because it is it will be of great help for me to know about how you guys see it from your perspectives. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now let's go into the part two. No, before I want to go into part two, I really want to just say donations. Why donations? Because it's no strings attached. If anyone wants to donate $1 or $5 or $2, it's beautiful. That's great. That is like, it's really just, it's just out of personal preference, personal choice, and personal alignment. If a person feels comfortable, they can donate. If they're not able yet to donate, or they don't want to donate, they don't feel aligned to donate, then please don't. To me, it's all about personal will, personal free will. And so that's how I see donation is possibly the best option that I can take, for my life, I would even say. Okay, that being said, so part two, how do I, perceive money? I would say, what about, let me merge part two and part three together. Because now at this point, I realized that I actually spoke on how I perceived money already. Like, I actually see money as a tool, and also I see having money, in a bare minimum way. It actually makes me living in such a lighter, much more joyful and excited way, because it's with so much more clarity that I see what I truly need in my life. And being surrounded by all these material things, that I'm able to distinguish and consciously attach myself to whatever that I'm doing or acquiring or gaining materialistically. And it is through the conscious attachment to every action that I do and everything around me, that then becomes detachment, because there's no unconscious attachment there. That I know I'm none of this. I'm not the title, I'm not the status, I'm not the amount of bank balance, I'm not what people compliment me, I am not the vessel. So in a way, money is just part of all of this that I just mentioned. It is how I also perceive money. I'm not the money. I simply utilize money as a tool for convenience, but in a very conscious way, personally. And so that's why I want to merge part 2 and 3 together, because what I just talked about is more about micro, from a micro perspective. And now I would like to share my personal point of view on the macro aspect of it when it comes to money. But before that, I really need to drink some water. Oh my gosh. I feel so good speaking my truth. I'm being serious, guys. Every time I speak these kind of things, I'm just like, I'm in the flow. It's so good. It's just water, but it's not. It's just water, okay? It's really just water. That's why I said whenever I talk about, speaking my truth, and also, in the flow, I am so energized. Like, I'm so energized. And I'm just like, yes, this is my passion. This is my passion. So I get really, really excited when I speak about things like this. So let's keep going. The second part is that what is money? Because we merged second part and the third part, right? Part 2 and part 3 together now. What is money when it comes to on a collective level? Please feel free to share your opinion, okay, in the comments below. Okay, your comments are very well appreciated. All right, and of course, always with mutual understanding and mutual respect. Okay, thank you so much. So how I personally see it is that money is really, of course, I have also mentioned this in previous videos, that money is literally an exchange tool, right? For us to exchange resources, because in certain, geographically or say geologically, there are certain resources that are more scarce than others. Some are more abundant than other regions or places, geographically or geologically speaking. So it is just a tool for us to have more convenience, when it comes to trading, when it comes to exchanging resources. And it can get more and more complex if we get into finance. We talk about mutual funds, we talk about bonds, we talk about all these kind of stock market things, right? But where does this go? I don't even see the need of going into this direction to talk about all these different kinds of financial products in the market or financial ways to generate money or income streams, right? Where are we going as a whole, as a civilization? Where are we going with all of this? Where are we heading? That we see money as something so heavily necessary, so heavily necessary to our well-being. But it feels like we've trapped ourselves with that. I mean, I'm talking about humanity as a whole. What we truly need is the resources behind, and I actually talked about it in previous videos. Why are we even more concerned with money than the actual environments that supports us to maintain our well-being, or say to nurture our well-being? Like, this direction, possibly we really need to reevaluate what has been going on, and what is the role of money here from this point on. We have been focused on utilizing money to develop what we think we know, what we think we should do, what we think how we should thrive towards. But up to this point, it is quite self-explanatory and self-evident that it might not be working as well as we thought. As we think that money should be all about it, like everything's about money. Our well-being is all about money. But now that if we are seeing from this point, that at this point, in hindsight, yes, the economy boomed and, real estate boomed. And so, what about people's happiness? What about people's health? These are all deteriorating, like rapidly and tragically. Is this all that matters? Money? So if money equals well-being, then why are people experiencing all they're experiencing right now? Maybe it's the sole reason, the exact reason that we think money equals well-being, that when we lose money, we lose our well-being. Maybe the equation we need to rethink again, is it actually our well-being equals money? Because if we lose our money, so to speak, okay, we feel unsafe. We lose our stability. We lose our sense of existence. We lose our sense of belonging. And our sense of well-being just drop. Then what is the role of money here? What can we all, or say, how can we all rethink or reform or regenerate the perception of money and our relationship with money? It's not that money is something bad. It's not at all. It's just a tool. But have we been using this tool to our highest good of all, for everyone? Have we been being conscious and aware of our own actions? That, yeah, to a certain extent, there are many people who would say that's capitalism. We have to address capitalism. But what about we can all reflect it on a personal level first, individually? What is my personal relationship with money? What is my personal view on money with the world? How do I see myself in the midst of all this? Who am I? What do I want to do in life? Do I actually want to chase after money? Do I actually want to chase after status? Is this truly what I want? Is this truly who I am? Is this truly what I resonate with? Do I see myself in 20 years or 10 years or 5 years that I am still living in a society or in a lifestyle that is 80% about money? About how can I make more money? How can I get more properties? How can I get more assets? I'm not saying this is right or wrong. It's just everyone has a different way of living, or say different way of preference to live. But maybe this is the time that we can all reflect on ourselves, that what is it truly that I want? And what is it truly that I need? Because want is not need. Want does not equal to need. What we want is what we desire. But am I conscious with what I desire? Is it actually for my highest good? Is it actually for my well-being? Or when I actually want to gain something, am I actually causing any harm to the external, to other people, to the environment, and even to myself? So I personally see that it is not just about what capitalism is bad, or what kind of ideology we should adopt, or you're wrong, I'm right, or I'm wrong, you're right. It's more about looking within each of us to be clear with oneself that what do I truly want? Because it's only when we individually understand what we truly want, okay, like personally, okay, everything went, only then we would have so much more clarity as a collective. Because when each person is in tune with themselves, this becomes a consensus on what do I want. This would then form certain clusters of people or groups that they would find each other. So it is not about controlling. It's not about we should do this, we should do that, it's about self-reflecting individually. What do I want? And when a person knows that within himself or herself, this person would find those who resonate with himself or herself. And this becomes a force, naturally, organically. And it's not through any way of control, of manipulating, of dominating. It is something very natural that comes from within. And when more and more of us understands that, as in understanding oneself, it's never about the money. It's never about the tools. It depends on how we choose to use the tool. Just as how a person chooses to use a knife. Some people could use the knife to harm other people. Some people could use the knife to cook a wonderful meal. So it's not about the knife. It's not about a tool. Just as it's not about the money. Because money is a tool. It depends on how we collectively choose to utilize this tool. For what? For what reason? For what direction? What do we want as a collective to thrive towards? What do we see? What do we envision? And these all would come together in a very organic way that forms a sustainable ecosystem, be in any aspect of society. And so that would be money as well, for money, right? So that is my point of view on what is money when it comes to, collectively, as a whole, as humanity. Okay, so again, this is a 1 hour video. I thank you all for listening to my personal relationship with money, okay? And I really look forward to how you feel about it when it comes to donations. Right, and also how you personally see what is money when it comes to a more macro perspective regarding humanity as a whole. I look forward to reading your comments, your thoughts, your opinions, and thank you for your patience, your time, your support, and your kindness. Okay, and of course always your respect and understanding with each other in the community. So I hope you enjoy this video as much as I do, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye bye.